Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and resistance fighter, developed a profound perspective on human stupidity, one that transcends mere intellectual shortcoming or a simple lapse in judgment. For Bonhoeffer, stupidity is not merely a weakness. It is a destructive social force, paradoxically more dangerous than evil itself. He argued that stupidity is a form of resistance to critical thinking, an active refusal to reflect on actions, ideas, and their consequences. Unlike evil, which can be confronted and restrained through reason, stupidity is impervious to intellectual engagement. It resists awareness, self-correction, and the ability to change. Bonhoeffer made a clear distinction between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance results from a lack of knowledge, but stupidity is a deeper condition, a refusal to learn and evolve. Stupid individuals do not simply lack knowledge. They actively reject the possibility of learning or changing their perspectives. As a result, stupidity is not simply an absence of thought. It is a refusal to think critically, making it an insidious and self-perpetuating force. This dangerous mindset prevents societal progress, stifles development, and closes the door to creativity. For this reason, Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is far more dangerous than ignorance, as it not only represents a lack of thought, but actively inhibits society's ability to learn and grow. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and resistance fighter, developed a controversial perspective on human stupidity. According to Bonhoeffer, stupidity is not just ignorance, but a far more dangerous social force than evil itself. He viewed stupidity as a resistance to critical thinking, an active refusal to reflect on actions, ideas, and their consequences. Stupidity is not simply the absence of knowledge. It is a deep-seated rejection of new ideas or changes. Stupid individuals do not just lack knowledge. They actively refuse to learn or evolve their perspectives. They cling to their unexamined beliefs and reject intellectual challenges that might force them to confront uncomfortable truths. Bonhoeffer made a clear distinction between ignorance and stupidity. While ignorance may stem from a lack of knowledge, stupidity is a deeper condition, an unwillingness to think and develop. Stupid people don't just lack information. They close the door to growth and understanding. This dangerous mindset is a self-perpetuating force, a threat not just to the individual, but to entire social and political systems, especially when it aligns with power. Bonhoeffer pointed out that the passivity and stubbornness of stupid individuals enabled authoritarian regimes, including Nazi Germany, to rise. This is an important lesson on how stupidity and power can combine, and it calls for us to confront it decisively. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and resistance fighter, developed a profound and unsettling view of human stupidity, which he considered not just an intellectual shortcoming, but a dangerous and destructive social force. According to Bonhoeffer, stupidity is not merely a weakness, but a state of mind and society, a resistance to critical thinking, and a refusal not only to think, but to change. Stupidity is not just a lack of knowledge. It is a refusal to learn and accept different perspectives. While ignorance may stem from a lack of information, stupidity is a rejection of exploration and a refusal to change one's mind. A stupid person doesn't merely lack knowledge, but is unwilling to accept new information or alter their views. Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is a force more dangerous than evil because it cannot be confronted and restrained by reason. This makes stupidity a threat that is not easily recognized, as it doesn't come with malicious or wicked motives. Instead, stupidity is often a passive state, the acceptance and following of what is set without any doubt or challenge. In the context of totalitarian regimes, especially during the rise of fascism in Germany, Bonhoeffer witnessed the passive compliance of ordinary citizens who did not question power or control, allowing atrocities to take place. Bonhoeffer stated that when those in power stop engaging in critical thought, they become tools for authoritarian regimes. These individuals often surround themselves with advisors and systems that confirm their biases, creating a feedback loop of ignorance. As a result, they lose the ability to self-reflect, becoming more prone to irrational decisions and following orders without questioning. These decisions are based on illogical thinking or incompetence rather than rational deliberation. Bonhoeffer's theory shows that stupidity doesn't just have severe consequences in society, but also weakens the resistance of both individuals and communities. In a world where critical thinking is increasingly undervalued, Bonhoeffer's insights become especially crucial and urgent. He emphasized that if people fail to recognize the dangers of stupidity, they will continue to accept wrong ideas, leading to social, political, and humanitarian disasters. In this section, Dietrich Bonhoeffer continues to develop his perspective on the relationship between stupidity and power, pointing out that those in power often become less capable of critical thinking. When individuals gain power, they tend to engage less in independent and reflective thinking. Instead, they surround themselves with like-minded individuals who only validate their views without challenging them. This creates a negative feedback loop in which opinions and decisions become distorted, losing objectivity. Bonhoeffer argues that power is not just the ability to dominate others, but also a tool used to maintain conformity and eradicate any form of independent thought. Even in modern society, this phenomenon is still evident, particularly when leaders easily lose objectivity in their decisions by surrounding themselves with sycophants who provide no opposing viewpoints. Bonhoeffer's theory shows that it is the lack of critical thinking, coupled with resistance to new ideas, that makes stupidity a powerful force. Stupidity becomes a tool in the hands of those who hold power, and this poses a significant danger to intellectual development and free thinking in society. This deficiency in critical thinking is clearly illustrated in authoritarian regimes, where strict obedience and unquestioning compliance are seen as critical elements. Those swept up in the power cycle often lose their ability to question government decisions, leading to the unconditional acceptance of policies that are flawed or malicious. This is one of the core theories Bonhoeffer addressed throughout his life and work. While we must face those who hold absolute power, it is crucial to maintain the ability to self-check, self-critique, and question the decisions they make. Without this, we risk becoming passive and easily swept into irrational and dangerous ideas. In this section, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian and resistance fighter, presented a provocative theory about stupidity that goes beyond mere intellectual shortcomings or simple lapses in judgment. Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is not merely a weakness. It is a profound and dangerous social force, one that is paradoxically much more dangerous than evil itself. He believed that stupidity is a form of resistance to critical thinking, an active refusal to reflect on actions, ideas, and their consequences. Unlike evil, which can be confronted and restrained through reason, stupidity is impervious to intellectual engagement. It resists awareness, self-correction, and the capacity for change. Bonhoeffer pointed out that stupidity is far more dangerous than ignorance because it closes the door to growth and understanding. While ignorance may stem from a lack of knowledge, stupidity is a deeper, more entrenched condition, an unwillingness or inability to embrace new ideas, facts, or viewpoints. Stupid individuals do not simply lack knowledge. They actively reject the possibility of learning or evolving their perspectives. They often cling to their unexamined beliefs and reject intellectual challenges that might force them to confront an uncomfortable truths. This dangerous mindset found its most terrifying expression during the rise of Nazism. Bonhoeffer witnessed firsthand how the passive compliance of ordinary citizens became a central component of the regime's success. The refusal to think critically or question authority allowed the Nazi regime to carry out atrocities on an unimaginable scale. What made this compliance so destructive was not the presence of active malice, but rather the absence of resistance from individuals who had become numb to moral and intellectual inquiry. Stupid people, driven by a deep-seated passivity, allowed themselves to be swept up in the ideology of the regime, accepting its simplistic and dangerous narratives without question. The relationship between power and stupidity is another key aspect of Bonhoeffer's theory. When people gain positions of power, they often become less inclined to engage in critical thinking. The structures of power reinforce this by rewarding conformity and punishing independent thought. Those in power often surround themselves with advisors and systems that confirm their biases, creating a feedback loop of ignorance that is difficult to escape. As a result, the powerful may become less self-aware, more resistant to alternative viewpoints, and more prone to unquestioning obedience to authority. This dynamic creates an environment where decisions are made based on irrationality or incompetence, rather than rational deliberation. Stupidity, in this context, becomes a potent tool for the perpetuation of oppression and injustice. Bonhoeffer's paradox reveals a grim truth. Those who are stupid, and especially those in positions of authority, can be far more dangerous than those who act out of malice or evil intent. Their unthinking obedience to authority, their unwillingness to question, and their resistance to intellectual growth make them potent agents of social and political destruction. In a world where critical thinking and self-reflection are increasingly undervalued, Bonhoeffer's insights serve as a stark warning about the corrosive power of stupidity and the profound consequences it can have for society at large. This idea is expanded upon by Hannah Arendt, a German-American political theorist, who introduced the concept of the banality of evil. She argued that the greatest evil in modern society often does not come from the most monstrous individuals, but from ordinary people who commit horrific acts without any deep reflection on their consequences. Arendt's concept complements Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity by emphasizing how thoughtless obedience and a lack of critical engagement can turn ordinary citizens into agents of evil. Arendt showed how the absence of moral reflection can lead to devastating historical events, like the Holocaust, by turning individuals into instruments of a brutal regime simply through their intellectual passivity. In modern society, the dangers of stupidity and the passive acceptance of authority continue to be potent forces. Critical thinking, moral judgment, and intellectual courage are necessary to resist the seductive pull of conformity and blind obedience that can lead to oppression and injustice. It is through self-reflection, independent thought, and a commitment to challenging the status quo that we can break free from the destructive cycle of stupidity and create a society where thoughtful engagement and intellectual rigor are valued over complacency and ignorance. In today's world, particularly in the age of social media and rapid information sharing, stupidity has become a powerful, dangerous, and easily contagious force in society. This is evident through the dominance of misinformation and oversimplified viewpoints. We live in a society where the lack of critical thinking and the inability to analyze complex issues has become a serious problem. Individuals and groups no longer seek the truth carefully, but instead accept simple or emotional answers without thought or analysis. To fight this stupidity, we need to develop independent thinking and the strength to question what is happening in the society around us. The important thing is not just to acknowledge what we know, but to constantly seek out and verify information, challenging the views that have been accepted. We must understand that stupidity is not just a simple mistake, but a state of passivity, a refusal to confront the complexity of the world around us. Moreover, stupidity is not merely a lack of knowledge, but a lack of willingness to learn and change. A person can be highly intelligent in one area, but if they lack humility and the ability to self-reflect, they will easily fall into the trap of stupidity in other areas. While social media can be a powerful tool for connecting people and sharing information, it also provides a platform for the spread of misinformation. Whether intentional or not, This information spreads rapidly due to its emotional impact or ease of comprehension. Therefore, to combat stupidity, we need to improve critical thinking and create spaces for diverse thinking. We need people who can question themselves and the world around them, who are willing to face uncertainty and accept the complexity of life. Along with this, we must cultivate a culture of intellectual humility, where respect and dialogue are always prioritized. Only when we are ready to listen and accept differing viewpoints can we escape the cycle of stupidity, building a stronger and wiser society. In the modern society, ignorance is not merely the absence of knowledge, but also the refusal to engage in critical thinking and the rejection of new perspectives. This affects not only the individual, but can have severe consequences on communities and societies at large. People are often swayed by simple, easily digestible information that lacks scrutiny and critical analysis, leading to poor decisions and manipulation. Therefore, it is essential to develop critical thinking skills, encourage intellectual diversity, and foster open dialogues to maintain a fair and transparent society. We must learn to identify false information, understand the motives behind sources, and challenge flawed perspectives. Only then can we create a world where intelligence and wisdom are valued, rather than easy answers and intellectual passivity.